Hey y'all, just getting home. This is my pack of 4 dogs. There's Ozzy watering the lavender there. Ooh, I got some lavender. Lavender blooms. And that's Tux. Uh-oh, Tuxie, come here, come here, come here. Good boy. Oh, I thought he lost his tag there. Yeah, Tux is the pit bull mix. Ozzy's my alpha Cane Corso. He's 150 pounds right now. Actually been pretty stable with his weight. Whew. Somebody came and ate the flower heads off the zinnias. The deer usually don't like zinnias, but I guess if they're desperate, they're desperate. And then that's Lucia. Lucia is the youngest Cane Corso. She's 8 months old. Look at these sunflowers. Gorgeous. I got a field of sunflowers here. And then last but not least is Miss Dolce. Dolce is the dominant female, adult female Cane Corso. So she's the black one. These are the 2 girls enjoying a salad. So, Lucci. Aren't these gorgeous? Gorgeous, gorgeous. Something about sunflowers, just so gorgeous. Hello, Tux. But yeah, so this is kind of our routine. I work about an hour from my home. I usually end up coming home a little later. And there's Lucia. Come on, us! Come on this way. There's Ozzy. Hi, Papa. So, but that's okay. You know, I come home later, but come on, Tux, this way. Come on this way. Let's go see. You hungry? Who's hungry? Who's hungry? Come on, Tux. I gotta bribe him to come. Lucia. So yeah, because it's okay that I get home late sometimes, because since I have a pack and not just one dog, they kind of keep each other entertained and feeling safe. That's one of the reasons that I got more than one dog, is kind of decreases the chance of separation anxiety. Tux, you hungry? Are you hungry? Come see. Come on this way. Come on, Tuxie. So that's why I don't feel too guilty getting home at this hour, because by the time I get home, they're pretty much, you know, waking up. So they really sleep all day long, which works out. Oh, she is a runner. She is a runner. This way, Tux. Come on this way. Hurry, Tux. Come. Wow, we got some rain out here. Dolce, here he is. There's Tux. Come on, Lucia, this way. Come on, Tuxie. Good boy, Tux. You see? This way. Come. Look at them. Tux is on the lowest rung of the totem pole here in the pack. He's the omega dog. Just because he's, oh, there's Ozzy. Oh. He's running pretty fast there. Yeah, because Tux is the most he'll lay down for anybody. He's very docile. Although he's a cat killer. He's killed a couple cats in his day. So he's got 60% American Pit Bull Terrier. Just did a DNA test on him. Looks like the dogs are kind of on alert here. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, Tux is very submissive with the other dogs, but hi, Papa. His ears are perking up. So there's something going on. There's always a lot of deer back here, so behind the fence line. Oh, Lucia. Oh, she's about to get the zoomies. Look at her. Oh, Lucia. Oh. Now, oh gosh, y'all. It is dangerous owning this breed as far as potential for accidents. I've been knocked over. I've been knocked over by one of these dogs when they're running like this before. Ozzy's getting ready to try to mount Dulce. He's always trying to breed with her. But yeah, so you see, there he goes. She's not having it. She's like, I'm already fixed. Don't you know? She's spayed already. I guess Ozzy doesn't know that. I didn't get that memo. Maybe he doesn't care. Well, anyways. Yeah, you gotta really watch yourself when you're around this. Any kind of Corso owner knows that it's very dangerous. When they're playing like this, they can just knock you over in a heartbeat. Hey, look at her. So that's why it could be dangerous to own the breed. Accidents are pretty common and can happen just, you know, every day walking around. They can just, you know, the other thing is they can jump up on you out of excitement maybe, or even someone visiting. You know how dogs tend to jump up. It's a very bad habit, but even if you have a puppy like Lucia, see how big Lucia is? She's bigger, she's taller even than this full-grown adult female. She's almost as tall as Ozzy. And so if she, you know, she's still being trained. She's occasionally will still jump up on me. Very rarely, because I'm training her not to do that. But in the process of training her, if she does it, still, like even once in a blue moon, she has the potential to draw blood just with her paw. She's got huge paws. So she's a potential there, you know, to really scrape you to the point of drawing blood. Just as an accident. But, and then of course the other dangers of owning this breed is that you can really, especially if you've never owned one, which is what happened to me. My first time owning Cane Corso was Ozzy, and I was walking him out in public, out in the woods, and deer was nearby, and he bolted, and I wasn't prepared for it. Extremely dangerous situation, because at that point he could have had an encounter with, you know, someone walking by that he thought was a threat, you know. But so it's almost like, you know, you can look at it this way, and some people may say no, that's not the best analogy, you can't really compare that. But what I would say is owning a Cane Corso is in some ways like owning a firearm. Oh, Ozzy's got some energy. Look at him go. Because they can be like a lethal weapon. They can be lethal. And they're very powerful. And just like a firearm, if you don't put the safety on it, if you don't make sure you're not aiming it at somebody haphazardly, accidentally, it has the potential to kill somebody or very, very badly hurt somebody. And so if you compare that, you know, that analogy with the Cane Corso, the same holds true. If you don't have control of the dog and you take it out in public, it's just like akin to like a misfire. They can bolt from your possession and then, you know, go after a stranger, potentially. The dog is not really known to, compared to other breeds, not known to deliberately go out and maim a person, you know. I mean, there's always examples of where that has occurred, but I think in general, compared to other breeds, like maybe even compared to Dogo Argentino, Cane Corso is more of like a bait and hold type dog, catch and hold. But there are always examples of where they've really hurt or killed somebody. And so to own the breed is just like I mean, you take on a huge responsibility, like almost like owning a firearm, to keep it safe, keep the public safe, you know. So that's my PSA, public service announcement. And you know, I'm speaking to myself as well. I gotta always remember that. It really does owning the breed comes with a huge responsibility, and I gotta be diligent to maintain their training, to maintain control of them out in public, and you know, to not let them around situations where it could be dangerous, like a dog park. You know, which, you know, it's not always the case. I know several owners of Cane Corso who do take their dog to dog parks and do very well. But it's not a risk that I want to take. It's just not a risk I want to take. So I know it can be done, but I don't need to go to dog parks, because I got the land out here that I can just let them run. But I do take them out in public, and because that's part of the responsibility is to socialize them so that they don't perceive everything as a threat that they're not akin to. So like, you know, if you have this breed of dog and never take it out in public, and then all of a sudden you got to take it out in public to go to the vet, and it hasn't experienced people coming up to it, touching it, you know, it could potentially bite the vet. Or, you know, if a kid actually accidentally just comes up to it with it, when you're not prepared for that, you know. Say you're walking the dog out in public and the kid runs up to it and gives it a big hug. It's extremely risky if you haven't socialized your dogs around kids. And so what I do is I try to socialize them by taking them to places like Home Depot or places that allow dogs. And if there is a kid there, you know, they usually ask, "Can I pet your dog?" And I say, "Yeah, they're friendly." And I know that they are, because I have done this ever since they were puppies. So I'm confident that they're not going to hurt a child. And but I just kind of reinforce that a few times, like once every other month or so. I'll do that and let a kid pet them, and you know how kids are. They get this screeching voice sometimes when they're excited, which could be startling to a Cane Corso if they're not used to hearing that. They may perceive that as a threat if they haven't been socialized to that prior, you know. Anyway, so that's the main thing, is just knowing that the huge responsibility and the time that's required to really get the dog to a point where it's not going to be dangerous. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and consistency. So most of it done on the front end. Most of Ozzy's training I did when he was, young, of course, And I did make mistakes. Luckily, they weren't huge mistakes. I was able to correct them before they became huge mistakes. So, but I did a lot of research, and that's what it really takes. You got to do your research about the breed and learn everything that you can about them, and be willing and able to put the time in to socialize them and train them and exercise them, and being able to give them the space to exercise, because a bored Cane Corso that hasn't been able to release its energy is a dangerous Cane Corso. Very potentially dangerous, because it's going to find a way to release its energy. There was an episode on one of these dog shows. I think it was Caesar Milan or something. I love watching those, but there was an episode where, look at this too. I think it could have been two Rottweilers, or maybe it was a kind of like a dominant type of breed like that. I forgot exactly what it was, but what ended up happening is that the two dogs were kept inside most of the day and not exercised enough, and so they would start to release their energy by picking fights with each other, and to the point where they nearly killed each other. And the owner was like, I don't know why all of a sudden they're picking fights, because she's like, there's nothing to fight about, they're just, all of a sudden, it seems like they're just being aggressive towards each other. And it wasn't resource guarding or anything like that. It was just, they would play fight, and then it would escalate into a fight, and one of them would become seriously injured. And then the trainer was saying, well, that's the assessment was that they're just not getting enough exercise, and they have a lot of pent-up energy. So that was a huge part of that problem. So, going back to what it really takes to own this breed safely is to be able to provide that for them, so that they're not going to be walking around with a bunch of pent-up energy. So, and then if there's not the yard space for them to run as much as they want, then you really have to find a way to exercise them. And usually that means taking them for a walk or a jog. They're not high endurance, like you wouldn't take them for several miles jog or anything like that, but a decent amount of exercise. But that takes time and energy, and being able to be mobile like that. And it also takes being able to have them socialized enough and have control of them to be able to do that. So it's like, that's the double challenge right there. It's the logistics of it, and then being able to take them out to where they're not going to drag you around the neighborhood, or bolt when they see another dog and get loose from you. Because, oh gosh, it has happened to me. But luckily it was early, when Ozzy weighed a little bit less and he was still kind of adolescent, and it was a wake-up call to me to where I got to really crack down. Can't let this happen again. And that's what I did, and now he's just good. He's good. Doesn't happen ever again with Ozzy. But anyways, we're about to get a sunset here. Let me see. I think this video is getting kind of long. And I feel like I'm losing my voice a little bit. I don't know why. Sometimes I guess when I call after the dogs. Oh, you know what I think it is, actually? It may be, all those wild wildfires that have been happening in Canada. So I saw it on the news where most of the east coast of the U.S., the east and maybe the Midwest, is covered in a blanket of smog or dust from the fires that are kind of trickling down from Canada, the forest fires in Canada. So I know that's been really affecting a lot of people. It's almost like it's never been this bad ever, to where you can't even see the Statue of Liberty in New York because the air is so thick with the smoke, and it's dangerous. I don't know, so maybe that's part of why my voice is hoarse. I don't know. I'm in Texas, so we kind of lucked out being in a position where we're not as affected as the eastern and midwestern part of the U.S., but could be a little bit of it. But anyways, y'all, hope you all having a good night and everything, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye. Luchi. Luchi. Hi, baby girl. Hi, my Luchi. It's my Luchi. Gosh, her structure is so good. Nice top line, rear angulation. Beautiful, beautiful. Luchi.